In one of the many courtroom scenes in Kesari Chapter 2, the untold story of Jallianwala Bagh, a judge says, "No need for any theatrics here." He of course doesn't understand that theatrics are the lifeblood of one of Indian cinema's favorite genres, the courtroom drama. For decades, successive generations of viewers have watched these films for the games of legal upmanship and the fiery dialogue-bazi. 32 years after Damini released, Sunny Deol's Tariq Pe Tariq speech is still a gold standard. Thankfully, Akshay Kumar, once again in the role of savior and true blue patriot, doesn't listen to this judge. As lawyer and statesman C. Sankaran Nair, he proceeds to deliver high-decibel theatrics, which aren't very realistic, but they are very satisfying to watch, especially when he uses expletives against the British. These events take place more than 100 years ago, but apparently fuck was already a choice insult.
मैं जलियांवाला बाग का सच पूरी दुनिया के सामने लाऊंगा.
For debutant director Karan Singh Tyagi, impact is bigger than historical fact or authenticity, which is perhaps why Akshay is playing a Malayali, which is a stretch even though Karan hasn't donned a Kathakali costume. Despite being miscast, the actor delivers. Nair isn't a one-note character. When we first meet him, Nair is a loyal subject of the crown, but the horrors of the Jallianwala Bagh massacre create an existential crisis and a freedom fighter in a black coat is born. This is one of the more complex characters in Akshay's recent filmography. His last two films were Skyforce and Sikkim Again, and it is refreshing to see him play vulnerable, broken, weeping instead of a one-man army. Even though little about Akshay's demeanor suggests 1920s, there is conviction in his anguish for his country. By all accounts, Nair was an extraordinary man. He was a brilliant lawyer. He was the only Indian to become a member of the Viceroy's Executive Council. His son-in-law, first Foreign Secretary of India, KPS Menon, once described him as a radical among radicals. In 1922, Nair published a book titled Gandhi and Anarchy, in which, among other things, he criticized British policies in India, particularly the actions of Punjab's Lieutenant Governor Michael O'Dwyer. The Jallianwala Bagh massacre took place under the orders of Brigadier General Reginald Dyer, but O'Dwyer, as the administrative head of Punjab, was seen as complicit. In 1924, O'Dwyer filed a libel suit against Nair in the London High Court. A book called The Case That Shook the Empire, One Man's Fight for the Truth About the Jallianwala Bagh Massacre by Raghu Palat and Pushpa Palat recounts this incredible story. And it argues that even though Nair lost the case, it boosted the nationalist cause and brought to light globally the atrocities that were being committed by the British in India. Kesari 2 is based on this book, but it's a fictionalized account of these events. The case is shifted from London to Punjab, presumably so the language spoken can be Hindi. Karan and co-writer Amritpal Bindra also create a worthy opponent for Nair. R. Madhavan plays advocate Neville McKinley, an Anglo-Indian lawyer with a traumatic backstory. 1 minute McKinley is a washed-up alcoholic, the next he's in court putting Nair in his place. The writing is superficial, but I'm enjoying Madhavan's late career dark turn. He does grey guys with panache. As a storyteller, Karan isn't too fussed about making his plot persuasive. The ease with which Nair and his co-counsel Dilreet Gill, played by Ananya Panday, manage to uncover evidence just defies logic. And somehow Karan even manages to include a nightclub number with a slinky dancer, none other than ace designer Masaba Gupta. She looks lovely, but the song is an unnecessary speed breaker. The filmmaking is also obvious and manipulative. The restrained horror of Shujit Sarkar's Sardar Udham, which had an extended shiver-inducing sequence set in Jallianwala Bagh, has no place here. Karan pushes buttons in the most predictable way, which sometimes actually works. The most heartbreaking thread in the story is of a young boy who loses his family in the massacre. Karan weaves it with delicacy, and the performance by Krish Rao locates the naive courage and innocence of youth. Ananya, as a defiant lawyer, also finds the required gravitas, but despite Sheetal Iqbal Sharma's spiffy costumes, few of these characters actually feel like they're in a period film. Somewhere in Kesari Chapter 2, the untold story of Jallianwala Bagh, there is a riveting story of a man who stood against an empire. but it comes alive intermittently. Unfortunately, the film also adopts a self-righteous tone which it hasn't earned, especially in the end credits. Consider it the equivalent of a blunt-edged instrument which occasionally hits the target, especially if you don't ask too many questions. For more reviews like this, do subscribe to The Hollywood Reporter India.